morning everyone, welcome in this class. Today we will start our chapter number 7, that is understanding marginalization. In this chapter we will discuss about what is marginalization, where do you get marginalized, what is the meaning of socially getting marginalized. In simple word, marginalization means to isolate. When you are in group, when you are forced to be outside or out of focus, is known as being marginalized. We all face this type of situation which are really very painful. You may be different in your tradition, your customs may be different, your language may be different, your dressing style may be different. So all these make you feel that you are different from the group or you are different from the mainstream people. So making you feel that you are different from the group is known as getting marginalized. So our constitution lays stress on how to protect the rights of marginalized group. But before discussing this in detail, first of all we will know that what is marginalization, how many groups are there in marginalization, are they present in our society or not. So all these we will try to find out in this chapter. So let's start our chapter. What is marginalization? Suppose if you have numerous students playing along and you have one student who is not being mixed up with the group, we say that student become marginalized. So in simple term, we can say the person or the group of person who are not in the center of the things and have been put on to the side are marginalized. So that is the result of marginalization. So why marginalization occur is important. It could be due to difference in the language. So a person from Northeast India moving to the North India or South India is not able to mix up with the normal language Hindi or Malayalam that they speak there. The person might become marginalized. For example, the marginalization could be due to religion. So minority group of religion can be marginalized for time. It can be due to differences in the customs and the social status. Now, once a person or a group of person is marginalized, what happens? Few of the things that become important to understand and create the need for their protection are, first of all, there is the state of powerlessness they develop. So since they are very of that group, they become powerless. They feel that they are disadvantaged because of something or some region, and more or less they are excluded from the mainstream. So sometimes people feel that they are not the part of mainstream and they cannot adjust to the mainstream. As a result, you have exclusion that take place. There is also the sense of difference that has created, and sometimes it could be either due to prejudice or stereotype that they develop hostility and fear among the marginalized group of people. So what the government or the constitution really does is to protect the rights of marginalized and to create a scenario on stating that they are able to mingle in the mainstream. So that's the basic idea that the government works around. In this chapter, we will focus on two marginalized group. One is the Adivasis, or what we call as tribals, and other is the Muslim community. Now, first we will talk about the tribals or the Adivasis. Let's discuss about Adivasis and marginalization with a story. The two children and their great grandfather are watching the Republic Day parade of 26 January. So when they are watching this, they found many floats coming. For every state, you get one float which depicts the tradition of that particular state, special importance of that particular state. So as the many floats are coming in, the two children find one of the floats where the Adivasis is also coming, to which they belongs to. So they told to the Dadu, that the grandfather, that come and watch. We are seeing our float where our dancing customs are shown in the Republic Day parade, which is the pride for our country. So they have watched that one, and now the girl asks the grandfather, Dadu, why only the dancing of the Adivasis is shown here, always and everywhere? We are not shown like any other tribe, only the dancing, which is also fearful, which is in the primitive type, where we are shown that we are backward, class. Why Adivasis are portrayed like this? They don't know much about us, or are we really like this? The grandfather responded for this, saying that these people don't know much about our life, because the Adivasis used to stay very close to the forest or in the interior of the forest. They used to cultivate the land which are very close to the forest, and they used to get everything whatever they want from the forest which is around them, and used to consider themselves as they are the inhabitants or the naturally born sons of the forest. They used to consider forest as their mother. They used to take care of the forest also very carefully, but as the time passed on, where they used to stay in carefree houses where all their needs are satisfied by the forest or the lands nearby. As the time passed on, the colonial rule which came into India through the Britishers, initially they were not having much interest towards the Adivasis or towards the forest, but as the situation arose that the oak forest in England are getting disappeared because they are being cut down to make the ships for the Royal Navy. So the search parties were sent across the world to find out which would be the durable and strong, or equally to match up to the strength and stability of the oak. So the search party came to India and they learned that teak would be serving better and equally with that of the oak. So they have informed that thick forests are found in our country India, and these forests, which are the homeland for Adivasis, were being looked upon by the Britishers as the sources of wealth, and they started to give private contractors the rights to cut down these forests, and these Adivasis who are staying in this forest were forced to leave. Once this was the basic reason, as the time passed on, they moved on to the other parts of the forest, and these people used to live in the places where they have numerous wealth under the land where they are staying. They used to stay in hilly regions where under the hills used to have huge reserves of iron ore, bauxite, magnesium, or gold, diamond, color stones. All these reserves were found in the hills and the interior parts of the forest under there. So the private companies started to step in. Companies told these Adivasis to sell away their lands to them. When they refused, they were beaten up, they were forced to give, and they also promised, means the companies promised that they will be giving a job to the family members so that they would not be in any trouble. Even though many of them resisted initially, and they gave very less amount for them to do any kind of work when they are selling land to the companies. Initially, when they are selling their lands, they were getting very less amount, and those who did not agree to sell the land, they were beaten up, they were forced, because the company's officers were having the support of rulers at the time. So the Adivasis were forced to give away their lands. And finally, they moved to the cities in search of the jobs because they left their mother forest, and now they don't have any other alternatives other than joining a daily wage laborer or doing some odd jobs. When they came with the very little amount of the city, they dried up very soon, and so now they are suffering with poverty. As they know very little about the lives of the Adivasis, they are able to find very little information about the Adivasis. So only few things what they know about the Adivasis was that they dance like in primitive style. Other than this, they do not have much knowledge or how did they live, what are the customs they have followed, what are the rules that they have to follow, how they used to conduct the elections, how they used to have the head of the tribal families, how the administrations has to go on, how the social relations are there, how the divisions among the tribal groups are there. We don't have any knowledge about this, but the people all were very happy. The villages are self-sufficient. The tribal people never dependent on any other outside members. Even the outside kings and the kingdoms largely dependent on the products what were brought by the Adivasis. So this what Dadu told to his grandchildren, and he also told that why they moved from there to the city. His son got job in Delhi, so they all moved to Delhi. So that's how they got gaps in their education. Children got gaps in their education in the process of getting displaced from there and moving to some other place, and the process of migration, and finally they are able to be here, and now they join in the school. So then the children said, that's why people looking at us differently. We could not talk in Hindi because we never talked at home like this. We don't know even English. So that when we talked in tribal language, they were laughing. But now we are able to manage. Now these children can understand Hindi, and now they are able to speak few words in English also. So all this so that we know very less about the Adivasis. What we know is very less, equal to zero. We know only zero knowledge about the Adivasis, because by the time we come to know the Adivasis were displaced from their original inhabitants, and they were forced to leave that places because the companies want to do mining, the Britishers want to cut down the forest to have the shipbuilding for the Royal Navy. So all these are some of the reasons why the Adivasis were forced to leave their homeland and migrate to cities and towns. So, from this story, we learn that the word Adivasi itself means original inhabitant of the land. That means these were the original people who occupied the forest and lived in the forest for long. As a result, they were basically, we can say, king of the forest. Any forest produce they were well acquainted with. They had a full control and the access over the forest produce and the resources, and anyone in the king state would have to look to or look forward to a travel to gain knowledge or to gain any kind of forest resources. So originally these people were really rich culturally. They were well sound and they had intense knowledge of the real phenomena that occurs in the forest area. Of the total population of India, 8% accounts for the tribal population, and the very interesting phenomena about the tribals that they are not homogeneous. That means across India we have varieties of tribals that has seen, however, none of them have common characteristics, and there are nearly 500 different groups, tribal groups that could be seen. Odisha itself has more than 60 tribal groups. So they were originally engaged either in forest activities or mining and industrial activities in Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. However, later on there were migration. They migrated to the tea states and Assam. There are more than 8 lakh workers or tribals that are seen there. During the process of migration, there were more than 5 lakh migrants who vanished out during the 19th century. Many of the migrants even migrated to the plantations and other nations like Australia, Cambodia, and so on. However, they have something of their own or the originality. Now, this exists in the form of their own language, which is not similar to the Hindi or English or the common languages that we speak. They maintain their own language. When it comes to religion, they basically animist. It means they do not believe in the gods like as we do. They believe in some kind of power, supernatural power, the power of animals, the power of nature, the power of ancestors. So they worship ancestors. They worship natural spirit, and some of the good examples are the Jagannath cult of Orissa and Shakti and Tantric tradition in Bengal and Assam. So those are some of the examples. Many of the tribals were converted in Christianity when you had lot of Christian missionaries entered India, and later on as we see the modern tribals, many of them have adopted Christianity as their religion. Again, there were numerous stereotypes that were attached to the tribals. For example, they believe in certain custom. They are exotic, primitive. They were resistant to change, and so on and so far. But these are really stereotype only, and again they had their own languages. However, most common tribal language that is seen is Santhali, and Santhali, one of the most popular tribal language with largest number of speakers that has been seen. So this much for today. We will continue this chapter in our next class.